If I could educate everybody in this country to one point and make one analogy, it would be this. If you look at every year the Congress has to pass a highway bill or a farming bill, like the laws they do all the time. Most people don't pay attention to them, right? Maybe it's a $10 billion bill. There is a process. There is debate. There is negotiation. Maybe the constituents weigh in. You have lobbyists weigh in. You have think tanks that issue white papers and people read them. You have op-eds in the newspaper. You have town hall meetings when people debate things. The trading of, okay, I'll vote for this if you vote for that. It goes in committee in the House. Then it comes out. Then they vote on it in the House. Then it's in committee in the Senate. They vote on it in the Senate. Once those two bodies, if they pass it, it goes to the president. He'll sign it or he can veto it, but the veto might not be the end. It comes back. There's more negotiating. Maybe they'll put something in, make the president sign it. Maybe there'll be enough of a majority in Congress to override the president. Then even after, if all these people have weighed in and the Congress passes it and the president signs it, the courts can shoot it down, right? That's democracy. That's the process in America. For a $10 billion highway bill, it's slow and messy and sometimes dirty, but it's the way our government is designed. It's the way things work. And everybody gets to have a say. This process takes a long time and involves a lot of people and is very public. Okay, that's 10 billion. Now what happens when the Federal Reserve wants to do a new round of quantitative easing for 2 trillion? You have a committee of a dozen or so people. They're all appointed. They get together, they have a vote, there's a majority there. They're just appointed once every 4 years. If you look at the backgrounds of the people who run the Federal Reserve, like Ben Bernanke, most of them have never done anything in their life. It's not monopoly money, it's real money. This opinion has nothing to do with whether you think the Fed is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. It's not an economic opinion. Maybe you think what the Fed is doing now is sheer genius and it'll have wonderful consequences. Think about what this country stands for. What's American? What's worked? What's survived a civil war and multiple world wars and assassinations and depressions and the Cold War and everything else? It's the slow, messy process that involves a lot of people. If you go back and look at the circumstances under which this country was founded, where we came from, the idea was that the systems in place in Europe where one guy or a small group of people had all the power had failed. So we have a system now where government is made intentionally tied down to the people via Congress and via elections and via Constitution. And even for the smallest thing, the $10 billion highway bill in this day and age is a fairly small activity for a government running $1 trillion deficit. But according to the terms of the Constitution, you have to go through the messy process of checks and balances and democracy, right? That's how we want things to be. It will make things slower and less efficient, but in the long run, we'll all be better off. Now you look at what the Fed does, where overnight a group of unelected officials can get together, have a simple majority vote, and have a $2 trillion new program enacted overnight. It's un-American. Regardless of whether you agree with the Fed's economic policies or not, the lack of checks and balances, it's un-American and it's happening almost completely outside the Constitution.